Hey Dave, you did it.
Hey, Bells.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Wasn't sure we were going to make it, but well done. Both
Thank
technically
you very
illiterate.
much. Hi, Lupin
Um,
Lovers.
so hi guys, my name's Bella. I'm working with the Lupin Co. And basically we've just had a few questions lately about the Lupin Co business and our products. So thought we'd jump on and do a quick Q&A live with the man himself, CEO and owner of the Lupin Co, David Fienberg. So welcome Dave again. I think we'll jump straight into it if you're ready.
Sure, sounds great. Good to be online.
Awesome. So the first question is, how long has the Lupin Co been running for, and what was it that inspired you to start the business?
Well, we started, my wife, Leanne, and I started the business in 2016. But before that, on our family farm in the mid-1980s, we grew our first commercial scale lupin crop. So considering that lupin had been introduced to Western Australia by the Department of Agriculture back in the mid-1960s, it was really only grown as a sheep feed, and that's primarily what we were using it for. So back in the early 80s and not until the early 90s, lupin was better known as a stock feed, and with sheep particularly, it was all about increasing sperm rate of rams and increasing fertility for ewes because the twinning rate increased by 40%. So that was pretty exciting. And then my career in a large grain company led me to start a business which was all about lupins for human food into Southeast Asia. So at that time, the University of Western Australia and through the Department of Agriculture's funding and Grains Research and Development Corporation's funding, etc., with Curtin University had done a whole lot of work around the use of lupins as a fantastic food, particularly focused on obesity and diabetes. So that really triggered my enthusiasm to take it to the next level. And then through a twist of fate in 2016, there was an opportunity to start our own business, which was really focusing on lupin as a food product that resolves a few issues. And it was really all about lupins to save lives at the same time as being a highly sustainable crop and jointly being able to provide some opportunity to reduce lupin from being just a commodity to become more of a value-added product, because wheat, barley, oats and so on, they've all had their chance and they're all received value-adding, but lupins really was just sold primarily as a stock feed. So here we are. We now have a business that's thriving, and we've got lots of followers. So yeah, that's really how the business started.
Who would have thought stock feed would be so great for humans, I guess, as well. And obviously with your farming background, you're extremely knowledgeable when it comes to farming with grains and legumes and knowing the science behind it all. So that's really, really cool. Next question is, where are the lupins that you use sourced from?
So our business is based in Western Australia. So we have a number of farms that we draw our lupin products from. They come from the heartland of lupin country, which is about acidic soils, deep sandy soils, with a climate that enables the crop to be grown in 180 days. And there's very, very few places globally that can grow the sweet lupins like Western Australia can. So our farms are high value farmers that are very, very focused. So when I say high value, it's not about the monetary side of things so much. It's about a focus on high value quality systems, and they're also passionate about sustainability and about where we can take lupins into the future as a human food. So it's they're generally around about 350 to 400 kilometre radius of the Perth metropolitan area on the west coast of Australia. I know tonight we've got quite a few dialing in from around the world, many of our friends. So thanks so much for being online. So our aim is to really focus on those farmers that understand what it takes to be able to supply a food rather than as a commodity, and then we transport it just in time to our factory in what we call road trains, so quite large loads of grain of lupins straight into the factory.
Awesome. We love supporting our local farmers, obviously, and the soil is really, really good as well in WA, so that definitely helps. And just alongside what you're mentioning about the sustainability, so we've mentioned in previous posts and our websites that lupins are sustainably grown. So can you just extend on that, and what does that mean?
It's a question that's it's a great question, because it's something that people just I guess they float that whole claim around really, really easily, and they say, oh, we've got a sustainable business and so on. Ours is all about global sustainability and the ability to grow a food that can be grown year in, year out, where it puts back more than it takes out. So the air is made up of largely nitrogen. So this plant, being a legume, fixes organic nitrogen to the roots. So we're just about to float out to our many Lupin Lovers a series of videos, and one of the next videos coming up is all about Lupinology 101. So on that little video, it shows some great footage of the organic nitrogen that is grown on the roots of these plants. So that organic nitrogen, and plants need nitrogen to be able to grow. It produces leaf, it produces soil, root structure. If we don't have nitrogen, then we can't grow seeds and have a viable crop. So as a legume, it produces organic nitrogen. That's the first thing. The second thing is that it's tap rooted, so it has a really significant root ball that penetrates into the soil at least 2 meters deep. So what this does is that, if you can imagine the way that a carrot grows, it's not that different, except that this is down 2 meters. And what we're doing is growing these crops is that the root penetrating into the soil supplies organic carbon. So in the form of organic material, you can imagine what a root looks like. By this root material staying into the soil, it then breaks down and it creates soil carbon. So you would have heard the term carbon sequestration, or sequestering carbon, pulling carbon out of the air and then putting it back into the soil. And by doing that, we're making the soil more healthy for following crops. And lupins generally is grown immediately preceding a wheat or a barley crop. And what it's doing is it's providing nutrients into the soil so that the following crops are more healthy. So that's the second part. The third part is that lupin, when they grow, it's a 180-day crop, planted usually towards the end of April and harvested around December. But what we're doing is that we're providing a crop with a very dense foliage, and that foliage prevents the weeds that grow in the soil around the lupin. It prevents photosynthesis. So it stifles or reduces the growth of these weeds, and in doing so, it reduces the need to apply chemicals. That's the third part. The fourth part of it is that we're growing a plant that produces a hell of a lot of protein. So this crop produces 40% protein and 37% dietary fibre and only 4% carbohydrate. So as humans, we need protein, we need dietary fibre, and Julie Meek, an acclaimed dietitian, has recently produced a series of videos. One I was on yesterday that talked about the role of dietary fibre in a whole range of things, including boosting our immune system, and in fact, even having an impact, a positive impact on our moods. So that's the fourth thing. So there's 4 key areas of sustainability, and we don't just claim that. What we did in 2014, in a different role, we took the product to the world's largest food and beverage expo, and we pitched it against a whole bunch of other foods, and we took out the first prize, if you like. We were the awardee of the most sustainable food globally, and that was across, I guess, up to about 3,500–4,000 other exhibitors. And since then, the crop has won the Australian Institute of Food Science and Technology. So this is an Australian award, and a whole bunch of other awards for sustainability. So the reason this is really about pitching our product against our peers to ask the question: is it really sustainable? Does it really tick all the boxes in terms of global sustainability? And clearly, by winning those awards, it does.
Awesome. And on that note, with usually growing anything in crops and soil, your soil is usually quite depleted in nutrients, and it's quite clever, the lupin, because it's a legume that kind of does the reverse, doesn't it, I guess?
Well, Australia's soils, exactly, Bella. So Australia's soils are ancient. You know, what is it? Is it millions of years old? It's very shallow. We don't have the deep, grey, cracking clay soils of Western Europe and even some parts of the east coast of Australia, because the crops that the soils that we're growing our crops on, if you can imagine Bondi Beach, white sandy soil, what are you going to grow on Bondi Beach? Nothing really. Well, it used to be called gutless sand or gutless white sand. It's now called white gold, because this is ideal for growing lupin crops, and it puts back a huge amount of carbon, which adds to the nutrients of following crops, as I've explained previously, and it also it sequesters carbon like crazy. So it's doing some really good things. Yeah, so it's a fantastic crop.
Yeah, very cool. And just on that note as well, lots of people around the world at the moment are looking for low tox products, so low chemical, because that can cause a lot of inflammation in the body, obviously. So it's a great point that you made, in the fact we try and use as not as many chemicals as usual your normal products would have, but also that our products that we grow, we manufacture, and we sell to our customers are in the purest form as well.
That's exactly right. So the farmers that we buy our product from are farmers that their attention to detail is like nothing else. They are all invested heavily into precision agriculture and into very sophisticated ways of farming, such that the use of chemical is minimised. This is not an organic crop. To be able to grow lupin sustainably without the use of chemicals is almost impossible at the moment. We're working really hard with a small group of farmers that I think will get there, but they're just not quite able to get the rotations right, and more on that later. But the farmers that we work with are high value farmers in terms of their attention to detail, to reducing the amount of chemicals that we use. Things like the lupin having a foliage that is so dense that it does reduce dramatically the activity of weeds, such that the barest amount of chemical is used. And what that does is, in following crops, you have what we call clean paddocks. In other words, the weed burden is so small that the requirement to use chemicals on following crops is reduced even further. So our focus on sustainability and the minimising the use of chemicals is very high on our agenda. We want to be able to leave this place a better place than when it was when we started. And I think we're really heading towards that. So we've got some fantastic farmers that are heavily invested into doing the right thing, and with an eye not only to producing crops now, but also into the future.
Awesome. Yeah, super clever legume, and that's definitely one of our top values, is sustainability, for sure. Let's move on to our next question. You mentioned the product is high in protein. So what are some of the overall health benefits of lupins?
Well, at the moment, we know the world, so we're all in lockdown pretty much, but the really big disease that's sweeping the world is diabetes and obesity, and it doesn't matter where you live. We don't eat enough fibre, and we eat far too much red meat. With that comes fats that are not particularly good for us. Plant-based proteins are on a major role at the moment, where our consumption of plant-based proteins is increasing exponentially. And what Lupin does is it brings a protein alternative to the plate. So red meat is characteristically about 26% protein. Lupin is around about 40% protein. Red meat, for example, or chicken breast or whatever other animal-based protein has no dietary fibre. Lupin has 37% dietary fibre, and we know that dietary fibre has a huge impact, a huge positive impact as a prebiotic supporting probiotic activity in our gut. And as I mentioned a moment ago, Julie Meek has done a huge amount of work as an acclaimed dietitian on our gut bacteria and the positive effect that it has on a whole bunch of things, the way that our immune system operates and the way that our moods are. And at a time like we've got at the moment, we really need to be able to keep our spirits up. So in a broader sense, Lupin brings great protein, it brings lots of dietary fibre, and with 4% carbohydrate, which does convert to glucose, which has an impact on our sugar intake. It's just an amazing food. It's not complete, so you need to top up things like iron, for example. We don't have enough iron. It does carry with it some iron, a lot of iron, but not enough, and also calcium, manganese, magnesium, zinc, etc. So Lupin has a huge impact, huge and positive impact on our diet. But it's not to say that you only need Lupin in your diet. You need to still have a balanced diet, but it can play a huge role in giving some flexibility to our diet. You don't just need to eat red meat, chicken, fish. By implementing a legume like Lupin into your diet, can really do some amazing things, more so than ever before.
Comes down to the point of having everything in moderation, really, doesn't it, I guess? And Lupin really is quite the new superfood, I suppose you could say.
That's right. And many of the questions that we get is really around dietary fibre, really trying to drive that dietary fibre. And people say, well, how much can I eat? It's a great healthy product, but can I eat a lot of Lupin, or do I need to take it easy? Well, dietary fibre is a fabulous thing, but you've got to be careful. In my diet, I eat a lot of Lupins. I eat probably 120 to 140 grams of Lupins in the morning in my porridge, just to start off with. Now, if every Joe Blow decided to start off at that sort of level, flatulence plays a fairly big role in dietary fibre. So if you overconsume dietary fibre until your gut becomes used to it, then you certainly will feel the effect of it in bloating and also in flatulence. However, by gradually increasing your consumption of Lupins, then that levels out and your gut really settles down quite nicely. So I guess at the moment I'm pushing in excess of 200 grams of Lupins a day, and I have that in breakfast, through snacks in the morning, even at lunchtime with soups. It makes a fabulous thickener as a flexitarian type diet, to add protein and dietary fibre without the normal carbohydrate, for example, that comes with chickpeas and some other legumes. And then at dinner time, to incorporate it into any number of foods. We've got a whole bunch of recipes that are up on our website at the moment, and we're quite happy to send a whole bunch of others. In fact, we had a circular go out yesterday, I think it was, and it included a link there to a whole bunch of recipes that show you that there's probably 35 or 40 usage occasions to incorporate Lupin into your diet. And it's so really, really easy. You can't destroy them, you can't overcook them, you can eat them raw every day. Just take it easy, gradually increase your consumption. Otherwise, your partner will be screwing up their nose, and you'll feel a little bit uncomfortable. So enough said about it.
Well said, well said. As for me, I like my Lupin Flake in smoothies for my breakfast. It's just that added protein, and I like to exercise quite a lot, so I definitely need that muscle repair. So if you're a bit of a gym junkie, it's definitely great to help with protein intake for sure. And you've answered my next question about how people can incorporate in their daily diets every day. And like you said, we can substitute it or add into or change it up for rice or quinoa or porridge, anything like that. A crumb as well. So I think you can crumb your proteins or any vegetables and things like that. And we've also got our pre-mixes as well that people can have on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah, the crumb is really interesting, and because you can eat lupin raw every day, you can use it as a sprinkle onto, say, a salad, a green salad. You can sprinkle it, say, on a dessert. Say, if you were doing an apple crumble, instead of using bread-based high-carb crumble, use lupin. It's really it's really robust in terms of oven temperature. It holds that lovely golden colour. And it's got a beautiful crunch, and when it's baked, it becomes that more rounded, really nice, smooth, don't know how to describe it, sort of nutty flavour, I suppose, more so than when it's raw. But then if you're doing a range of baked foods like a cauliflower gratin, again, normally we would sprinkle a carbohydrate-based flake on the top of there. Well, just try it. Just replace it with a lupin crumb. Our lupin flake is ideal for this, but also our crumbing mix is, again, also, it's got a little bit of the crumb has got a bit of a flavour to it, so you'd want to be able to try it first and then incorporate it. But yeah, just shake it on and use it wherever you go. It's so easy to use.
The opportunities are pretty much endless with Lupin Flakes. It's very alternative, I guess. I love we've got a new Lupin flour out as well, so lots of people are baking with the Lupin flour. And that brings me on to our next question, which is a frequently asked question about, is Lupin Flake or Lupin flour gluten-free? Is it keto-friendly, and is it vegan-friendly?
Yeah, definitely vegan-friendly. It's as a legume, there's nothing in it. As a kid, I used to eat a lot of cornflakes, which are a manufactured product, and there are many products in there that claim the term flake that are manufactured. So it means that it's blitzed down to a flour, and then incorporates a whole range of binders. It's then rolled and then it's baked. Ours are not. Ours come pretty much, they come from the paddock into a silo, from the silo straight into the factory in a dry process that with no liquids, no binders. It's really a size reduction process with a flaking process that we've got some intellectual property around that enables us to not need any waters, not need any binders. So it is definitely vegan friendly. In terms of gluten-free, it is definitely gluten-free. We have Celiac Australia certifications, so we keep gluten out of the factory and also out of our paddocks. Our paddocks have got no carryover from previous wheat crops, and we test for that independently, and it's also paleo friendly as well. So it's got some really wide usage possibilities there.
Yeah, that's awesome. Our next question is just looking across the globe, where are the Lupin Co or TLC's products available?
Well, this is where our Lupin Lover friends can come in. We are distributed globally, but within Australia through our independents and health food stores. If they're not in store, find the manager, pick your phone up and dial up the lupinco.com.au to go to our shop and show them our products and ask them to get our products in. I don't know, there'd probably be 700 to 800 stores around Australia with our products in. We are online, but we are around the globe as well. And whether that's Singapore, Malaysia, Indonesia, the UK, the US, Canada, so and many others. So just go to your store manager, show them the link, and we get a response every week. We're increasing our store numbers. Our distributors have been fantastic, but they need your help so that we know which stores have got our products and which ones haven't, and it's really, really simple. They respond because they need you. They're real estate agents, and all they're doing is they're managing real estate. So the more products that are on the shelves that sell, the better.
That's it. And it comes back down to basics, I guess, word of mouth. If we can supply this product to our customers and keep them happy and healthy, they could help us out, definitely, word of mouth.
Yeah, exactly right. So it's an Australian product, but it's got global demand. And at a time when obesity, diabetes, just a flexitarian diet, a plant-based protein diet, every now and then, it tastes great. It's got an amazing pedigree behind it in terms of doing the right thing for sustainability and for as a healthy food. It's not a medicine. It's not a nutraceutical. It doesn't come with a whole bunch of chemicals. It's natural. It's been consumed for thousands of years. The Romans and Hannibal, they all used lupins to sustain themselves. And now here we find ourselves with a modern day diet that we really need to change. And this is just one of those fantastic opportunities. So, yeah, just contact us if you need support with your local store or your local distributor, and we're happy to talk to them and send them some information that may be able to help get them over the line to get us ranged. And if you support us, then that's fantastic. So our thanks go to you for supporting us up until now.
That's it. Sums it up pretty well. On to our next question for customers that haven't yet got their hands on any of our products. How are the products able to be purchased?
Well, through independents and health food stores throughout Australia, and there are some quite well-known stores globally. The big brands, they're on our stores. Go onto their website, go to their contact email, and ask them which stores have got us ranged. But online, we're doing a huge amount of business through online. If you jump onto our shop and use the coupon, it calls you for a coupon. There's a little coupon there called Immune 2020. Pretty topical now with this coronavirus plaguing the world and forcing us to shut down and so on. And that'll give you an extra 15% discount over and above what we're currently offering. So there's a really great opportunity there. Plug Immune 2020 in, just click on the little apply the discount tab, and you'll see the savings that you've got. And we've got a great deal with Australia Post at the moment, with some really good freight rates or postage rates delivered straight to your home. And send us your suggestions on whether you like the products, whether you don't. Review the products online. Give us some feedback. We've had some great feedback that's helped us to develop the Lupinola, which is pushing way up there around about the 23% protein, and we really drop the carbs out of that with some, and it's all natural. We haven't used any binders in there to create little, what do we call them, chunks or pieces clusters that you can use snack foods, clusters. That's it. Thanks, Bella. So it's a great breakfast food, but it's also just a really nice snack to blend up with some nice yogurt. So they're all on there. I hope you enjoy them, and send us a note if you need some more information or you've got some suggestions. That's
it. And obviously with the time being that it is in the world, people aren't able to get out of their houses and self-isolation and whatnot. So everyone can definitely jump on the website and order online, and they'll have their products within 3 to 14 days probably. And we ship globally as well, don't we?
Yeah, we ship globally, and we've got great partners globally. Just tell us where you are, and we'd be quite happy to get our partners internationally to get some product to you. At the moment, internationally, we've got our flake and some of our retail lines internationally, the flour to a limited extent, but we're soon to roll that out into 5 kilo pack. Feedback has been really tremendous around the flour. It works really, really well. Its water absorption rate is really, really high, and it really enables you to drop the carbs and boost the protein content. So thanks for all that great feedback recently. It's been awesome. Really appreciate it. Keep it coming.
Yeah, awesome. Well, that's it. That's pretty much most of our frequently asked questions. If anyone has any more, just feel free to get in contact with us through our website, and we'd be happy to answer anything. And as Dave said, any recommendations, always welcome. So thanks, Dave, for your time and sharing your wealth of knowledge and expertise on all things Lupin. Everyone watching, we hope that makes or answers some of your questions. And yeah, it was definitely fun to jump on here for our first live and have a little bit of a chat, all things TLC. That's it really from us. We hope you all stay safe and well through this time. Thanks again for listening in, and we'll see you all guys soon.
Thanks, Bella. Thanks, Lupin Lovers. We'll talk to you again soon. Bye.
See you guys.